Now, in a minute, I am going to be reviewing this new Honda Civic Type R. But first, let's remind ourselves what made the old Type R such a hit, particularly among the sort of young men who have, you know, spiky product in their hair and communicate by grunting. Him, really. Sorry.
To be honest, there was plenty to like about this car.
Its engine spins so fast, it generates its own little gravity field. 8,000 RPM. I'm surprised it doesn't come with its own moon. There isn't that much actual power, but it makes up for that by being so urgent and so eager. If you liken all cars to dogs, this one is like a pensioner's terrier. You just open up the door and it's out over your shoulder.
It handled nicely too.
It feels light and it feels agile. If you turn into a corner with no power on, back slides round just like an old-fashioned Peugeot. Brilliant. And of course it's like a tripod. There's always one back wheel off the ground. Yes, I am a little terrier. I'm cocking my leg now.
But it was the practical stuff that made this car such a hit. It was cheaper to buy than almost all its rivals and cheaper to insure.
And because the boot is so big, there's plenty of space for a decent pair of speakers, the most important accessory for the young men who made this car so popular. Ten pints of Stella and a dollop of chlamydia.
You would imagine then that the new Type R would be even better. It's based on the new Civic, so it comes with funky triangular exhaust tailpipes, a dashboard from the Romulans and door handles from a 1950s fridge. It's very striking, but like the old model, it's not that expensive. This GT version with sat-nav and various other luxuries is £18,200. Equip a Golf GTI to the same level and it would be a whopping £5,000 more. Unfortunately, however, from there on in, things start to go a bit wrong.
This car is bigger and heavier than the old model. So, do you want to guess how many more horsepowers it's got? 30? 40? No. One more. Honda say that despite this is just as fast as the old car. They say it'll do 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds, and that flat out you'll be doing 146, but from where I'm sitting, it just doesn't feel that quick. The revs just take longer. It feels like a big car with a small engine.
Then there's the handling. The old car was a joy in the bends because it had fully independent rear suspension.
Unfortunately, independent rear suspension is jolly expensive, so in this, it's been replaced with a simple torsion bar. Now that makes the car cheaper to make. And worse. I'm not saying it's going to fall over or hit a tree, but all the poise and controllability that you used to get in the old car has just sort of gone. And all you get instead is, oh, I don't know, 15 miles of, look at this, hideous understeer.
Still, let's see how this new car gets on in a race against its dad.
He's getting away! I'm gonna have to tuck in behind him here. Nothing I can do. Ooh, he's cocked his leg, his back wheel's off the ground.
That's Dad, and then there's the spoiler, which goes right across the middle of the rear window.
I mean, who thought that was a good idea?
While we're on the subject of not very good ideas...
Can you hear that? That beep is to tell me the ignition key's still in. Why? I know the ignition key's in because I've just driven here. And then there's the seat. Instead of having a wheel here so you can infinitely adjust the backrest, you get a ratchet. So you either sit bolt upright, like you're at work, or you pull it and then you recline, like it's a chaise longue and you're a Victorian prostitute. Oh, and how's this for a brainwave, okay? You pull up, you want to get something out of the back seat, so you pull that lever, pull the seat forward, get whatever it is that you wanted, pop it back, and it assumes that in the brief moment you are out of the car, you've become Richard Hammond. Why doesn't it go back to where you left it? I mean, what were they thinking of?
The worst part of this car, though, is the ride comfort. It's all right here on our smooth track, but on normal roads, it is intolerable.
And it's not just me being a fat old man, I promise. Even if you're a teenager, even if you're used to sleeping on the floor at parties and being stabbed, this is completely unacceptable. You need a skeleton made of granite.
I like hot hatchbacks. I always have done, but this one, it's absolutely hopeless.
Hey, you can't just slide in here. Get out. What?
That man over there told me while we were watching that film that he's just bought one of these and I don't want to go
Oh, that
near
is
it.
awkward. Sorry.
How do you feel now?
I took them both out, and I think that one's a much nicer car.
What, the new one?
The new one.
Yeah.
The styling's a lot better, and also a higher RPM. That sounds much nicer. This
Yeah.
one sounds like you're just thrashing it.
What if you're completely wrong?